Yellowstone already told you what Beth and Rip's spinoff will be about. Yellowstone Season 5 is coming to a head, but it's officially not the end of the Dutton story now that Yellowstone has confirmed a new spinoff centering Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley, and Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser. It's been a brutal fight for Beth and her brother Case, Luke Grimes, to save their family's ranch since Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2's premiere. The sixth-generation Dutton siblings have been navigating the fallout of their father, John Dutton's, Kevin Costner, death while trying to save the Yellowstone Ranch. It isn't an easy feat since Montana's inheritance tax has paralyzed them from continuing life on the ranch as usual. Heading into the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 finale, the fate of the Duttons' ranch is uncertain. Case has largely prioritized protecting his son, Tate, Brecken Merrill, and his wife, Monica Long, Kelsey Asbell, rather than trying to save his family's heirloom ranch. Meanwhile, Beth held an auction in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, which raised $30 million to pay the mortgage covering the Duttons' extensive tax bill. While Yellowstone Season 5 finale could have anything in store for the characters, we can at least breathe a sigh of relief that Beth and Rip will live another day with their own spin-off story on the horizon. Heading into Yellowstone Season 5's final moments, a report from Deadline confirmed a new Yellowstone spin-off starring Beth and Rip. It's an exciting development as fans prepare to close a massive chapter of the Dutton story, with Yellowstone Season 5 finale leaving the franchise's fate uncertain. Ahead of Yellowstone Season 5 ending, fans noted that it was being marketed as the season final rather than the series finale. It's an essential distinction since Yellowstone's direction after Season 5 is unclear. At least the announcement of Beth and Rip's spinoff gives us some idea of where the Dutton story is heading. Deadline's report contained some exciting details about the newest Yellowstone series. Beth and Rip's Yellowstone offshoot promises that Riley and Hauser will return to their roles, and the report suggests that the spin-off will probably feature other familiar faces from the Yellowstone Season 5 cast. If not tied up for a potential Yellowstone Season 6, Beth and Rip's story could include Case and Monica, but that depends on the Season 5 finale. While other franchise spin-offs exist, Beth and Rip's story will reportedly be the first to include Yellowstone in its title, unmistakably tying it to the original. Based on Season 5 details, we can further deduce what Beth and Rip's Yellowstone offshoot will entail. Before Kevin Costner's fate as John Dutton III in Yellowstone, some of the cowboys from the Dutton Ranch headed to the Lone Star State after brucellosis threatened to kill the Yellowstone Ranch's cattle. While Rip manages the cowboys, Beth travels to Texas to visit her husband, surprising him at the Four Sixes Ranch with a getaway that entails 2 nights in a suite at a local hotel. It's impossible to ignore how perfectly placed the couple is in Texas during their time there. Beth quickly notices that Texas doesn't have the same tourist crowd as her home state. There's an appreciation for ranching and the work the Dutton family does, which Beth notes. However, Beth and Rip discuss the limits of their future, with a mutual understanding that their responsibility to the Yellowstone Ranch and John Dutton's legacy tethers them to Montana. Thus, Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 10, previews Rip and Beth's ending if John didn't die. Considering things have changed and the Dutton siblings may give the ranch away instead of protecting it, Beth and Rip's Texas story can continue. Putting Beth and Rip at the helm of Yellowstone's latest spinoff is the perfect move. Riley and Hauser have what it takes to lead the next chapter. Beth and Rip are fan-favorite characters within the Yellowstone story, and their heart-wrenching romance has been one of the strongest elements, especially as series creator Taylor Sheridan revealed its depth. One of the hardest pills to swallow about the possibility of Yellowstone concluding after Season 5 was that we wouldn't see Beth and Rip's stories continue. The lovebirds have the most untapped story potential, especially considering their extensive history. It looked like Yellowstone set up Season 6 with Beth and Rip's stories, but a dedicated spinoff to focus on their lives is even better. Beth and Rip's spinoff story can build on the flashbacks to the characters' adolescence in Yellowstone. Flashbacks establish Beth and Rip's young love, including how several complications in their romance journey cause the pair to disconnect until later, when Beth returns to the ranch in Yellowstone Season 1. Their spin-off can divulge more about what Beth and Rip were up to all those years ago, developing their background while expanding their futures. Long before Yellowstone teased any official news about a spin-off for Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler, the show had already planted the seeds. Quietly, carefully. As always with Taylor Sheridan's world, the story was never just about the land. It was about the legacy, and the legacy was always going to fall into the hands of fire and fury, Beth and Rip. You just had to pay attention. From the very beginning, Beth and Rip's relationship has been a volatile mix of passion, pain, and power. They're not the fairy tale couple. They're forged in blood, branded in loyalty. But by the end of Season 5, we started to see something shift. The barroom brawls turned into quiet moments. The fire was still there, but now there was a softness, too, almost like they were preparing for something. Not an ending, but a new beginning. Their spin-off, though not officially titled yet, doesn't need a name for us to guess what it's about. Yellowstone already told us. In between the chaos, the revenge plots, and the looming threat of progress swallowing the ranch, the Dutton saga revealed a future that only Beth and Rip could live out. It was hinted at in the flashbacks, in the bitter cold, in the warmth of a porch swing, in every stolen second of peace they managed to find. This spinoff is going to be about legacy, about how two people, broken and bruised by life, try to build something that lasts, not for power, not for money, but for love. Montana is in the rear view. Beth has always belonged to the Yellowstone in name, but she's never been truly tethered to the land. Not like Case. Not like John. Beth's home is wherever Rip is. And Rip, he was never after land. He was after freedom. Dutton-branded freedom, sure, but still, freedom from the past that hunted him. By the end of the last season, when the threats to the ranch piled high and the Dutton name weighed heavier than ever, there was a strange and quiet moment where Beth looked out across the land and didn't see her future anymore. She saw her father's. Her brother's, but not hers. In a pivotal scene, one that fans thought was just another tension breaker, Beth tells Rip, "This place will kill us if we let it." It already has. She wasn't just talking about the ranch. She was talking about what they've sacrificed for it. That's when we knew. They were leaving. The ranch of their own. We've seen it before, when Rip and Beth were out in Texas, far from Montana. Something about them changed. They were lighter, freer, less haunted. And Rip even said it himself in a rare moment of vulnerability. Out here, it's just us. No ghosts. That was no throwaway line. The spinoff will see Beth and Rip starting over, not as Dutton loyalists, not as pawns in a decades-long power war, but as their own version of ranchers. Think raw land. New cattle, maybe even a few ragtag ranch hands Rip picks up along the way. Think of it as Yellowstone meets Bonnie and Clyde, with a little bit of homestead rescue thrown in. There's also the possibility of an adopted son, Carter, coming along for the ride. Or maybe he stays behind, becoming the bridge between the old Yellowstone and the new legacy his surrogate parents are trying to build. The land they claim won't be easy. It never is in Sheridan's world. There will be threats. Developers, poachers, drought. But this time, the battle won't be for someone else's land. it'll be for theirs. And Beth, queen of mind games and manipulation, will finally use her tactics for her own ends. She's not protecting someone else's empire. She's building her own. Beth versus the world, again. Let's not pretend Beth is riding off into the sunset to become some docile ranch wife. Please. That's not who she is, and Rip wouldn't love her if she were. The spinoff will see Beth up against a new frontier. Maybe it's in Texas, maybe Oklahoma. Hell, maybe it's Wyoming. Wherever they go, Beth is going to encounter people who underestimate her. People who think the sharp-tongued businesswoman doesn't belong in the world of cattle and corals. Bad idea. She'll face men with too much money, neighbors with too little respect, and probably more than one woman trying to get a little too close to Rip. And Beth will fight them all, using contracts, whiskey, fire, or fists. Whatever it takes. But this time, her fight isn't rooted in vengeance. It's rooted in protection. Her home, her man, her life. Rip's redemption. Rip, the quiet storm of Yellowstone, has never known peace. From the time he killed his abusive father to the day John Dutton gave him a shovel and a purpose, Rip's been a soldier, loyal to a fault, brutal when needed. But the man's never had time to process what it means to be truly free. Now in this spinoff, we'll see Rip wrestle with what freedom really means. Away from John, away from the Dutton legacy. He'll have to learn how to run a ranch on his own terms, lead men, maybe even be a father figure if Carter or others join their makeshift family.